You know, it's funny, though, too. We were talking in the last segment with Clay as if the window for success for the Heat and Jimmy Butler has completely closed. Has it? I don't know. I mean, it certainly feels like it after last night, but there's that recency bias where you go, will it feel this way in a week? I don't know.
Jimmy's I don't want to be the guy that badmouths Jimmy. Jimmy is a great basketball player, but he doesn't score enough on offense. It's my only criticism of him.
But I don't think I don't think that's being critical of him. I think that's fair. I would say to you again, Jimmy has over-delivered in what he's done for the Heat. He's needed some help, some scoring help. He's needed some help. Like, again, we've out.
It's 305.
Dale.
God bless. Dale.
305 doesn't sleep for anyone. Dale. Thank you, Jimmy.
You're welcome.
That's all you got?
But, Jimmy, you got a free Whopper. You can be upbeat about the Marlins.
Yeah, but the Heat lost.
Yeah, I understand. I don't think it's being critical of Jimmy Butler if you say he couldn't get you to the actual title, because look at the conversation we had yesterday about superstars who have not been able, and I'll put KD in that argument, but I'll put Luka in that argument, but superstars that haven't been able to get to that final finish line. And I don't, you can pick and choose on Jimmy criticisms. Not available enough in the regular season, or doesn't take the regular season enough. And as the leader of the team, he sets the tone for the regular season with the other players. Like you can pick and choose with that kind of stuff. But overall, since Jimmy Butler has gotten here, in my mind, that dude has over-delivered. Like the notion that he was the next Dwayne Wade is true to me. It's true to me.
And it's wrong.
So close. Obviously, you're not the next Dwayne Wade if you can't deliver a championship. Wade? He has embodied everything you want from a Heat player.
This is why this argument I've had for years that I always hate to do, because I love Jimmy Butler. I love his personality. We laughed about the Mickey Mouse hairdo that he had, like the driving a horse and playing horse on a horse, like Big Face Coffee. I would love to hang out with Jimmy Butler. He's a very cool human being. But he's not made like Dwayne Wade. He's not that guy. He's a very good player. He's not a great player. He's not an elite player. He is an extremely good basketball player.
I think he is, though. I would submit to you that Dwayne Wade needed another elite player. Didn't make Dwayne less elite, but he needed Shaq. Or he needed LeBron. He needed another elite player. Jimmy has not had one. And I love Bam. But let's be honest. Jimmy has not had Shaq the way that D. Wade did. And Jimmy has not had a LeBron the way that D. Wade did.
So Bam is supposed to be that guy. So are we questioning Bam or Jimmy?
No, but I think what Hawk is saying is that Jimmy Butler can be considered an elite player, but sometimes you need a better elite player in order to go and win a title. Like, in order to get over the mountaintop.
Whoppers.
Let's go.
Third Whopper in a row.
Let's go.
Third Whopper Jr. in a row. Marlins win again. Swept the Rockies.
Let's go.
Jimmy's back.
Yeah, I'm back.
Crowder, I mean, Dwayne Wade was the greatest player in franchise history, and you could argue he was the greatest player at one point in the NBA. The season that D. Wade led the league in scoring, he got bounced in the first round. And then the following year, when he was third in scoring in the NBA, still at the prime of his career, right before the Big Three got there, they got bounced in the first round again. What was the difference between Wade as a top 5 player in the NBA and getting back into the title conversation? Two more elite players around him.
Braun and Bosh.
And Bam, I think, biggest takeaway from this series is that Bam, in my opinion, is untouchable on this team. Like, I'm not of the camp of you blow it up, but I am of the camp of outside of Jimmy and Bam, because I think you have a core there that can get you close enough. Outside of those two, you have to consider every single option. And my opinion, the direction.
What if getting rid of Bam to bring in Dame, and now you're getting a scorer for Jimmy?
No, because you're getting rid of literally your anchor on the defensive end. Like everything you're doing on that
I'm just
end,
throwing out the hypothetical because if you need to get a superstar scorer,
they're not going to trade Bam Adebayo. They're not. Any Heat fan who thinks that that's on the table, really, like you're out of your mind. Unless if somehow the Heat could turn Steph Curry, LeBron, and Durant here, and they like that's blow it up, fine. But they're not going to be able to do that, and they're not trading Bam Adebayo. Like they want to pair an elite scorer with Bam Adebayo.
Yes.
Right.
This is the conversation, and I prefaced it with I love Jimmy Butler to death. It's Jimmy not being here, and you pair Bam with a real legit scorer, and now you have a team. That's what you don't talk about. We don't want to hurt Jimmy's feelings. Jimmy is not that guy. You're talking about Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade and Bam could win a championship. Jimmy is not made like that. I love Jimmy. He fills the stat board and his PER and whatever the hell you want to say, Solana. Jimmy's not that guy. He hasn't won a championship. Last year in the finals, that's what I was looking at earlier. He averaged 22 points a game, which is cute. But it's not what you have to do if you're a number one on a championship team. You got to drop 30.
I'm with you. I think, it should, in my opinion, you have a core that has gotten you close. The prime objective this offseason needs to be to keep Jimmy and Bam together and to go out and find the Damian Lillard, who I'm not saying it has to be Dame, but to go find that caliber of player to pair with those two guys.
How about Bam and DeMar DeRozan?
Okay.
What? You said Bam with a scorer.
Bam, Jimmy, DeMar DeRozan.
Stop. What are you guys doing? Don't do this right now. Don't.
I got to get headlines.
Don't do
Solana.
We're trying to fix a problem.
Okay, and DeMar DeRozan should be nowhere close to any list that you're putting together.
Really? Nowhere. You're making DeMar DeRozan bad now?
I'm not making DeMar DeRozan bad. Do you want to get over the hurdle? Do you want to get over the mountaintop to be a legit title contending team? DeMar DeRozan shouldn't be on the table. Shouldn't be an option. Period. End of story. It shouldn't be an option.
Bam, Jimmy, Bradley Beal.
Well, listen, I don't know if you saw that team this year. Keep him away. Also, he's $100 million a year.
Yeah, he ain't worth that. League minimum.
Let's get the headlines from Solana because we're going to be joined. I said roundabout. We have some Kentucky Derby talk. This guy, Ian Cummings, is going to join us, but there's a Kentucky Derby tie-in, but he happens to be the former creative director at EA Sports Madden. And so he had say in Crowder's Madden ratings. Solana texted them to us. 2006, your Madden rating was 73. Not very good.
What's going on? I was a 93 in college. I go to 73 in the league.
73 in 06, 83 in 07, 85, 85, 81, and then 79, 79 to round out your NFL career. Want to see what Ian thinks. See if he got it. See if he was maybe he was over generous.
I got a bone to pick with Ian.
Anyway, let's get headlines here with Alejandro Solana, the world's biggest DeMar DeRozan hater.
This sports update is driven by
almost as much as Tua.
DeMar DeRozan and Tua.
No, but because you're saying they need a superstar, they need an elite scorer, they need an elite player.
Well, I mean, DeMar DeRozan's a scorer.
They need offense.
DeMar DeRozan's team was below 500 this year.
Oh, that's Vucevic's fault.
Okay, all right. No,
they need offense.
They need to add a Kevin Durant level. I'm not saying Kevin Durant, but that level of player to Jimmy and Bam. That's what they need to do. Can they? I don't know.
Well, how?
Right. I don't know if that's going to end up happening.
I have a feeling that maybe Tyler Hero's trade value took a little bit of a hit.
But there are options out there. There's guys, Donovan Mitchell, Paul George. Like, there's guys who might be available this offseason.
DeMar DeRozan was 38% from the field and averaged 24 points a game.
Who cares? On a team that was below
Anybody who
500.
needs points. Anybody who needs points cares.
On a team that was below
There's nobody on our
500.
team that averages 24. No, not a player on the Heat averages 24 a game.
It's so funny the way that you guys pick and choose when you want to start box score reading, but when you don't want to start box score. Like, who cares what DeMar DeRozan did on a team that was below 500? You think DeMar DeRozan's the answer next to Jimmy and Bam Adebayo? Him and Jimmy play so similar. Like, you want somebody who can light it up, who's a top 10 player in the NBA next to these guys. Not DeMar DeRozan, who's just a career, borderline all-star player on bad teams. The Toronto Raptors got rid of his ass and won a title the next season.
Oh,
And
stop it. That's ridiculous.
Guess what he's done with the Chicago
It's not like
Bulls?
they got rid of him and won a title. They brought in Kawhi.
Right. They got rid of him.
No, but
And
I'm saying, but you're making it sound like all they did was get rid of him to win a title.
That's literally what they did. They replaced a really good player with an elite player.
I
with
understand
the
that.
same roster, and they got to an NBA title and won it.
They got rid of DeMar DeRozan, replaced him with an elite NBA ball player.
Correct. And now you're
Right.
saying when we're talking
No.
about
I'm not saying elite. All I'm saying is he said they need scoring help. I said DeMar DeRozan. The guy scores. That's inarguable.
Okay. All right. You guys, you keep doing. I can't believe a year later we're still doing DeMar DeRozan on this radio show.
Well, what
But
are you
guys-
saying? He's not a scorer? How
the team-
convenient that you don't want to look at stats when it's time to look at stats.
But then when it benefits him, Hawk, he wants to tell me about player efficiency ratings.
Right.
Well,
All of a
because
sudden, instead of looking at DeMar's stats, which is a pretty good outline of how many points he puts up, he wants to tell me about Kawhi Leonard.
Mhm. No, because it's funny that Crowder's entire basis of his argument is that Jimmy's not that guy. Jimmy's can't be the number one. Right. And that's fine. We can all agree. It's a pretty good sample size now. He can't be the number one on your team if you want to win an NBA title. And then your answer is to go to somebody who's worse than Jimmy Butler. What?
Bam?
A guy who's never – no. DeMar
Bam's
DeRozan.
your one, Jimmy's your two, DeMar's your three.
Okay.
Offensively.
No? Now you don't like Bam.
offensively,
Now the guy doesn't like Bam.
And DeMar DeRozan's better offensively than Jimmy.
This sports update is
Only
driven
if
by
you
the
look
new-
at the numbers.
What are you – oh, my God.
Well, the player efficiency rating on the fourth quarter,
This sports
Jimmy's a
update
better
is driven by the
scorer
new-
than DeMar DeRozan if you ignore the actual scoring numbers.
Palmetto Ford Truck Super Center. Why buy your truck at a car store? Palmetto Ford. We know trucks. Probably the last show Palmetto Ford sponsoring our headlines if you're listening right now.
Listen, whatever you think about us when it comes to basketball is what Tommy Tig thinks of you.
Tommy had a party last night. Rough season, babe. Rough season.
The Marlins did beat the Rockies in extras, ladies and gentlemen, 5-4. So we got a clean sweep of the Colorado Rockies. Peter Bendix is headed to 11 right now to celebrate.
Dude's elite. That guy's up there with some of the greatest baseball minds. That guy's name in Boston. Epstein. Theo Epstein.
Chesterfield.
Theo Epstein.
Oh.
Like talking to guys who don't know baseball here.
The Marlins begin a 6-game road trip out in California. They play the Oakland Athletics tomorrow night, 9:40 p.m.
You don't make a lot of white Theos.
No, the most famous Theo is Theo Huxtable.
Huxtable. Yeah.
I
Theo
don't know
Walcott.
Who?
Theo Walcott.
Who's that? Who's that? Is your throat locking up, or are you saying a name?
What's his name?
Theo Walcott.
Who is that?
Oh my God! I mean, legendary Arsenal player. What?
What sport is that?
Is he white?
No, he's not. All right.
Not many white
Tonight,
Theos.
There's really not.
No, that's a black name.
Theo Epstein overcame a lot.
He's fighting for his life.
Famous Theos.
Oh, Theo James. He's from what's the show that we love? The hotel one. Damn, what's the show?
Oh, he's a good-looking dude. I know. I can't think of the name, but I know what you're talking about.
The White Lotus. Season 2 of The White Lotus.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't
He's
know
a
that.
look-
Oh,
that's a
yeah,
good-looking
yeah. He
man
was
there.
excellent in that.
Yeah.
Oh, Theo Von. Isn't he very popular right now?
Who was that?
Got like a podcast, he's a comedian. Theo Von. You should know him.
Oh yeah, the comedian.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Most famous people named Theo in the world. I just found a list. Guess who's number 1?
Has to be Theo Huxtable.
Theo Walcott.
Is it really?
It is. Yeah. Guy's a legend. He's a gunner.
Is he going to be in the next season of White Lotus?
Tonight in the NHL,
A woman, Theo.
we are keeping our eyes on Boston.
I get no greater satisfaction in my entire life than really annoying someone. And I have Solana on the ropes this segment. I mean, he is biting his lip. He is so mad.
What about Theodore Roosevelt?
Theodore Roosevelt.
That has to be number 1, right?
But he's Teddy, right?
Yeah, nobody called him Theo.
Yeah. He's
You
tall.
know?
Oh,
You know why?
because he's white.
Exactly. If I say to you, hey, I want you to come meet my friend Theo, who do you think I'm showing up with?
Someone with some color.
Not Teddy Roosevelt.
Mm-hmm. Did he like black people?
I don't know. What year was he president?
No idea.
No.
Oh, he died in 1919. Yeah. He wasn't an ally.
Let's see. He was.
Not fair. You don't know that.
I
you
know that.
That's not fair.
Look at him. He's looking at me funny in his Wikipedia picture.
It's like one of the most interesting presidents of all time. Dude was like a cattle rancher, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I got that election so long, I had voted for Hobart.
Hey, was Teddy Roosevelt nice when you met him?
Did you vote for him?
And I just did the Hobart vote joke, Jimmy. Jimmy, I just did the joke. Man, no one can come in and launch a punchline that has just been launched quite like Jimmy. Jimmy, did you not hear me say I got it wrong? I voted for Hobart in that election.
And then Jimmy, I hit him with
You
the
making sure you voted for him?
how was Teddy? Was he nice when you met him? Like we
Oh,
did that joke
yeah.
twice.
You should have voted for him, though.
Gracious. What's happening here?
What you got, Jimmy?
What about Theo from the Cosby Show?
Jimmy, I'm gonna feed you lines, bro. You can't try through that.
I saw Solana tell you what to say. You hesitated too long. That joke would have brought the house down, Jimmy.
Come on, Jimmy.
Why did you hesitate?
I'm feeding this guy gems. And
That was a gem. Have you heard of Theo Epstein? All right, anything else in the headline, Solana?
Maple Leafs Bruins tonight. Winner of this series plays the Panthers in the next round. Boston is a 3-2 series lead. The game
That's
is in
like a
Toronto.
good sketch character. The guy who just launches a punchline the moment you've done so.
Jimmy.
He did that yesterday, didn't he?
I think it's his thing now.
It's his thing. It's his thing.
If you get to it first, he doesn't care.
Well, you have to get to it first because he's not going to come up with it unless you do.
Oh, boy.
Maybe Jimmy can't decipher when Solana's just feeding him a line and when we're actually talking on the air. So he thinks all this stuff is just going on in his head.
Oh, man, Jimmy, you was something else.
Your weather from the Desmond and Dover Law Firm. Call them 866-954-MORE. YourAccidentAttorneys.com. Free consultations 24/7. It is 85 degrees and a beautiful South Florida afternoon. That is your weather.